Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review A Body of Errors by Luis Vasquez. This is the debut solo project of Luis Vasquez, who is mostly known for being the frontman and the main member of the Soft Moon, which was definitely one of the kinda more experimental and certainly more intriguing directions I've seen in Darkwave and post-punk, with multiple elements of industrial instrumentation, at some occasions tribal percussion, and a sense of intensity that would become even more apparent with its new release. Criminal, which was the final project of the Soft Moon, was definitely their most intense and the heaviest work they've ever done. So what we have with A Body of Errors is in some occasions similar to what you would expect with some directions he has taken with the Soft Moon. What's the main difference is that we go further away from the post-punk elements and we go further into the most electro-industrial elements. This is certainly the heaviest and the harshest work out of Luis Vasquez, and the main difference is that this album is completely instrumental. I think with the exception of the track Used to Be, which I'm not really sure if the few vocals that are part on this song is Luis Vasquez himself or if they're sampled. Even if the Soft Moon were known for having a big portion of their albums being instrumental, it was never to that extent like we have with this debut over here with A Body of Errors. The thing though with every single the Soft Moon release is that they have some amazing songs and some extremely good cutting-edge aspects with some extraordinary elements of industrial music and overall experimentation. However, most of the material they have, they're kinda inconsistent. Even in their short period of time, they never managed to be really that consistent, which unfortunately I think it's kind of the case with A Body of Errors as well. This is still though a really good work, but some of the tracks over here could have definitely been developed into something more, because this thing is only 38 minutes, but it's 14 tracks, so most of the tracks here do not go even beyond the 30-minute mark, with the exception of very few of them and the final track World on Fire, which goes for 4.5 minutes. Now the album in my opinion starts amazingly with the track Inferno. It's a really nice track to get you into the mood of this album. It has some extremely well done melodic passages, it's extremely dark and moody, and the flow of this track is spectacular and it makes for a really solid introduction. Then we get to the track Poison Mouth, which has this really heavy and harsh kicks that go on, and it really feels like it creates an aesthetic that would fit for like a power electronics or a death industrial song. Like if this track had some really harsh and heavily distorted screams, it would make for such a heavy and such a great experience. However, for what it is, it's a really decent instrumental. However, the pacing is kinda off, as at the second half it changes its style and it doesn't really fit with what we got in the first half, which is also something that I believe is the case with the next track, Under My Teeth. It also starts really promising, but the pacing feels kinda off. When it comes to the two shortest moments of this album, we have the tracks Decomposition Part 1 and Part 2, which in my opinion make for some pretty decent short tracks. They could have definitely been more fleshed out, but I like that those tracks are a bit more unique compared to what the rest of the album presents, as it has this really heavy use of tribal percussion, and it makes for some pretty intense, relentless and catchy instrumentals, which I really enjoyed. This Guilt is the catchiest and the most melodic track out of this album. It has a really nice dark wave and post-punk aesthetic while also maintaining the dark atmosphere that Luis Vasquez knows how to create, and so it definitely makes for one of the greatest highlights out of this album. Another one of the greater moments out of this album is the track Surgery, which I've listened to a portion of this song before, and this is the one track that got me really excited in listening to this album. This one in particular gave me lots of vibes of like the previous work of the Soft Moon. Now the track is kinda short, I would like to see it being more fleshed out, but for what it is, it definitely has one of the greatest instrumentals out of this whole project. Then when it comes to some of the tracks that contain beats to them, one of my favorite ones was Used to Be. I like the use of the vocals, I like the overall instrumentation on this thing. It was a really solid track. Now the thing is that a big portion of this album is actually tracks that are sort of like ambient passages. They don't have beats to them, they're mostly layers of scenes or some sound effects that would create a dark atmosphere. And out of these moments there were certainly some pretty intriguing tracks, like No Longer Human for example, which has a really solid pacing to it. And there is also the track World on Fire, the final one, which even if it's 4.5 minutes and it's the longest track out of this album, it doesn't really feel like that because the pacing of this track is amazing. I like the way it just constantly progresses, just fusing more and more sounds, and it's such a powerful experience. With some of the scenes it kind of feels like I'm listening to a much darker version of MONDI, and so I feel that World on Fire is one of the most captivating moments out of this whole project. However, looking at some other tracks like the Wasp for example, or In a Cage, or From the Drain, those are tracks that feel like wasted potential. They feel just like sort of introductions, they feel that they're going to lead somewhere, but at the end of the day these tracks go absolutely nowhere. So there are short tracks like this that feel unnecessary, that would definitely need to be more fleshed out, or actually have a better pace to them, or actually lead somewhere. So it's on occasions like this where even if we have a pretty short album, there is still some filler to it. This is another inconsistent work, containing tracks that feel more of like unfinished ideas rather than a part of a fulfilling product. With that being said though, I really dig the dark atmosphere of this project. There are some amazing instrumentals over here. There are some moments, even from the ones that I like a lot, that I would prefer them if they would be more fleshed out. But even with all that being said, I think that we get a pretty solid project of Darkwave and industrial music. I'm going to give A Body of Errors a 7+ out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.